Hey, what's up everybody? This is Olivia Rondo back at you again with another political reaction video. Today, one of my favorite congresswomen, Marjorie Taylor Greene, she is back on the docket, and today she is confronting people from 23&Me, you know, like the DNA testing people where you pay people to take your DNA and test it. To me, that's always been a little bit weird. I've never done it, but they're a little bit woke, so let's just watch what she has to say.
You co-founded 23&Me in 2006 and took the company public in 2021. Is that correct?
That is correct.
And this is all about DNA, which is we would call science. Is that right?
It was really about how individuals can learn about their own genetic information.
But DNA and the study of it is science. Is that correct?
It's about learning about their family, their ancestry, science, and their health risks.
Okay, so it's science. Now, in 2001, you reposted Dr. Raven, the science maven, who reposted my post of a sign that I kept outside of my office that said there are two genders, male and female, trust the science. And the attack on this, which you reposted, so you must have agreed with them, was, as a scientist with a transgender parent, I need you to sit down. You don't know the science or the history. You trust the science. Science draws a difference between sex at birth and gender identity. The systematic incidentalization of gender is a product of colonization. What does colonization have to do with gender?
I haven't seen that in a long time. I don't.
You reposted it though, so you must have known something about it. Also, 23&Me, the company that you led at the time, or that you're still there and you're trying to buy, opponents of trans rights use the phrase "trust the science" to make false claims about sex and gender. We support what the science actually says. Accepting and affirming trans people has a positive impact on their health. Trust the science, support trans health, which is really interesting because in DNA, it shows that there's only two sexes, two genders, male and female, and that should be something that you're you're very tied into that since you founded the company, co-founded the company, took it public, and you want to buy it again. So it's baffling that 23&Me, a company that specializes in DNA and people's very personal information and how God has designed human beings, would support and continue to support the trans ideology that this is something that can be changed. Have you ever seen any DNA or know of DNA that a biological male can give birth to a baby?
No.
No. So this is something that we know cannot be changed. That's scientific. That's the design of our DNA.
I just love how she makes them look so stupid and reads their post. You know, they could say, oh, it was a long time ago. I don't really remember making that post. Your name is on it. Timestamp is on it. You certainly made that post, and you certainly at least believed that at the time. And so I would like, you know, I really hate when people espouse a belief, a very, I don't know how to say this. I guess it's not controversial. I don't know. Maybe it is controversial. It seems like the mainstream media and celebrities and all the institutions believe that men could be women and women could be men, but such a anti-scientific belief, I will say, you have to defend it. You have to defend it. And I think she knew this, the 23&Me founder, I think she knew where MTG was going with this, or at least knew the direction, because she really resisted saying, oh yeah, we do science at my company. DNA is about science. The study of DNA is a science. Like, to me, that's very simple. 23&Me obviously uses science to test DNA and, you know, track where your family is from and your genetic history and everything like that. So she heavily resisted science. So I feel like she had at least an inkling that the congresswoman was going to go there and be like, well, how about this? Is this science? But let's continue, because she clearly can't defend herself.
And I don't understand, and I think most people don't understand, why 23&Me would take such a hard left political position supporting trans rights. And here's what's the really weird part about it, is it says this is one of the many reasons why we've been working to...
See, what is, you know, I understand he, him, she, her. I don't think that a man can literally be a she, her, but it makes more sense to me. Like, okay, who doesn't want to be a woman? You know, I love being a woman. The other things don't make sense to me. Here, Xem, Faye, Fair, LMNOP, QR, like, what genders are those? Nobody has ever been able to answer me that.
Improve our products for trans and non-binary customers. I thought your product is helping people understand their DNA, linking themselves with family trees. So I can't comprehend what kind of product 23&Me could give to people who identify themselves in some other way. That doesn't make a lot of sense. Another thing that's hard to understand is, you know, the beauty of DNA is it's the beautiful design. It's God's design down to the finest detail, a granular level of how we're made, but it also helps people link with their family trees. Yet this is a letter that you put out after the SCOTUS ruling overturning Roe versus Wade, and you put out a letter very much against the ruling that the right should go back to the states, and you clearly put your own personal belief in here on the 23&Me social media that you are very much for the killing of the unborn, the killing of babies, which completely would destroy what your company is all about. How can we study DNA? How can we study people's lineage if one of the very co-founders, and who wants to own the company again, supports the murder of the unborn, the murder of God's design, and the murder of God's creation, which we can link it to DNA. And Mr. Chairman, I'm running out of time, but I think that's 100% against the science, and I think it's 100% against God. I yield back.
Woo. Okay, so Miss Marjorie Taylor Greene is on fire once again. One thing that kind of confused me about this hearing, I see that it's, you know, she's in the House Oversight Committee, and they were questioning this lady who is Ann Wachitsky. I'm not sure how to pronounce her last name. And I was reading her last name, and I was like, that sounds really familiar. I realized her sister is Susan Wachitsky. Again, don't quote me on how to pronounce the last name, but the former CEO of YouTube, longtime CEO of YouTube for like 10 years or something. So I found that very interesting that the co-founder of 23&Me is sisters with the longtime CEO of a huge, a huge Google brand, Google company. Seems kind of shady. I wonder if 23&Me ever gave any DNA to Google, but, you know, we'll leave conspiracies for another video probably. But anyways, I am confused why the House Oversight Committee is having a hearing on the sale of 23&Me back to the co-founder. I have to read more into that. If there's national security concerns, if there's concerns with the DNA, the security of the DNA itself, I am really interested to hear that. So I'll probably watch the longer hearing as it is. But just to review MTG, I think that was great. I think she was making very simple but heavy points that are like, how can you purport to be a scientific company that supposedly delivers scientific results to paying customers if you think that men could be women? And not even that, but you think that people could be Z's and Zems and Zers and Fays and Fairs. What the hell is that? What is that? What the heck is that? So I really enjoyed that. And I just love, I love a lot of Mrs. Greene's House Oversight Committee hearings just because she always just sticks it to them, and she doesn't give a crap that other, the Democrats of the committee are making faces at her questions and stuff, and she doesn't care if the person testifying doesn't want to answer, because she'll just bulldoze you and move right past you and make you look stupid. So I enjoyed that. Big ups to Marjorie Taylor Greene. What do you guys think? Should the government be involved in the sale of 23&Me? Should these questions be asked? And have you given your DNA to 23&Me? Because I have a kit that's been sitting in my closet for probably over 5 years now that I got as a Christmas gift, and I still have not used it because I don't want to give them my DNA. And this kind of makes me seem even more iffy about it because I don't like the company's values that were just displayed by Mrs. Greene here. So let me know what you guys think in the comments, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Brawl, and I'll see y'all next time. Bye.